this Thursday night, Canada's wildfire forecast. Officials reveal what the summer has in store.
We've adapted our approach.
The predictions and the preparations. Safe and found. The Toronto teen who vanished nearly 2 weeks ago is located. What police are revealing. Crying foul. Why U.S. officials are investigating FIFA's World Cup ticket prices. Plus, a Canadian with cancer conquers Mount Everest.
Don't put off anymore what you want to do.
How this woman just hiked her way into the history books.
Global National with Donna Friesen. Reporting tonight, Jeff Semple.
Good evening and thank you for joining us. With temperatures topping 30 degrees across much of the prairies this week, the risk of wildfires is now increasing. Federal officials updated their wildfire outlook today, and while BC and the Northwest Territories are considered at the highest risk this summer, every province will face the threat of fire or thick smoke. Eric Sorenson reports on what we can expect and how the federal government is preparing to respond.
This wildfire, not far from Edmonton this month, was brought under control after several families were forced to evacuate. It's actually been a slow start to the wildfire season in Canada. 65 are burning right now, and that number will rise. Ottawa is leasing 10 more aircraft this season, including tankers and heavy-lift helicopters. Today, Ottawa said Canadians must prepare for wildfires and for smoke over wide areas.
We know that wildfires and other disasters are more frequent, more severe, more costly.
Indigenous communities are disproportionately affected, many in rural areas prone to wildfires, so governments and communities must work together.
To support not only evacuations, preparedness efforts, and safe relocations where communities can determine the supports that are necessary.
The Pacific El Nino current is warming up, though not expected to have much impact here till later this year or next year. In Canada, in spite of a cool, wet spring in many places, the wildfire season could still be significant. In the last 2 weeks, the Weather Fire Index has been rising. Intense fires are already possible in the southern prairies.
Things are changing in a big way.
Global News meteorologist Anthony Farnell is watching heat and precipitation. It will be warmer than usual on the East Coast and in the West. But in the West, there will also be less rainfall, so warmer and drier.
Now, the big problem is when you have less rainfall and more sunshine, more heat, you can end up with a high fire risk. And I do think that's going to come, especially later on in the summer out west.
Preparing for wildfire season comes as Ottawa also plans to build more pipelines that will increase carbon emissions. The Minister of Environment suggests green policies like electrification will keep Canada on track to meet its climate goals.
We have many tools that we need to reduce emissions across our country. That it does include industrial carbon pricing, but electrification of our economy is central to it as well.
But for now, and the foreseeable future, prepare for more wildfires in Canada. Eric Sorenson, Global News, Toronto.
A warning that the details of this next story are disturbing. In Halifax, the mother of a newborn who was found dead in the woods on Sunday has now also died. Police say they were never able to speak with the 23-year-old woman. She was brought to hospital by ambulance on Friday in critical condition. She appeared to have just given birth, but her baby was not with her, triggering a massive search. Both deaths are now under investigation. 2 people related to the mother are now facing charges including concealing the body of a child and indignity to human remains. In Toronto, a teenager who was reported missing nearly 2 weeks ago has been found safe. The 14-year-old Esther was last seen just after midnight on May 16th in the city's North York region. Her family says she's on the autism spectrum. Her disappearance sparked a massive search and a $25,000 reward. Caryn Lieberman has the details of the discovery and the police investigation. Caryn.
Nearly 2 weeks since Esther went missing from her home in North York, she has been found safe. Police say she was located in a home in Toronto, but they're not saying who she was with, who owned the home, and how Esther at 14 even got there. Police right now are investigating whether there is any sense of criminality involved in her prolonged disappearance. But they say that she appears to be physically okay and that she's been taken to hospital to be assessed to find out whether there has been any emotional toll. Police said there have also not been any arrests as of right now, and they went into more detail about their investigation.
We have been painstakingly conducting video canvasses. From video canvasses, we move into search mode. additional video located, we move into further search mode. It's a painstaking, long process, as you can appreciate, but that certainly contributed to us to getting to where we are today.
Esther, who is on the autism spectrum, left home Friday, May 15th around 11 p.m. Her picture was on posters across the city, and there was a massive effort to find her, with thousands of community volunteers and police conducting what's called a Level 1 search, which is the highest search operation. Again, Esther is safe. Police say she was located around 1 o'clock. In just a few hours, her parents released a statement expressing gratitude and thanks to police and the community, and indicating that they were finally able to hug their daughter for the first time in days. As for the investigation, it does continue, and very few details surrounding her disappearance and also her discovery. Back to you.
All right, Caryn Lieberman in Toronto. Thanks, Caryn. Prime Minister Mark Carney is in New York, pitching to potential American investors. Carney met with business leaders, emphasizing Canada's efforts to diversify trade ties, claiming a stronger Canada will help make America great again. David Akin reports.
The world is undergoing a rupture.
That has been the starting point for many of Prime Minister Mark Carney's speeches abroad, be it at Davos in January, in March to Australia's Parliament, or on Thursday to a well-heeled Wall Street crowd. In New York, Carney argued that rupture could be an opportunity for closer Canada-U.S. ties.
It's our strong view, and we've been clear about this, that a fortress North America in autos, in steel, in aluminum. That's in everyone's interest.
Still, Canada-U.S. trade talks remain stalled, though Carney's Minister for Canada-U.S. Trade, Dominic LeBlanc, will be in Washington next week to try again to see if there's a way to restart them.
We have made specific practical proposals to the U.S. administration.
Carney said that under his government, Canada has ramped up military spending and is moving quickly on resource development.
Let's be absolutely clear. Canada Strong will help make America great again.
But back in Ottawa, Carney's chief political opponent responded.
Every single anti-development law Trudeau brought in remains in place today.
In New York, Carney did describe Canada's diversification strategy, but he also argued Canada can be an indispensable source for everything America needs.
Canada can be the most reliable supplier that America needs to put affordable food on the table, strengthen national defense, and meet the exploding demand to power AI.
Carney returns to the national capital Thursday night. David Akin, Global News, Ottawa.
Some cautiously good news from the Bank of Canada today. It says the economy is proving remarkably resilient despite multiple shocks, including U.S. tariffs and the global oil crisis. But the bank warns the outlook remains precarious, pointing to U.S. trade tensions, the war with Iran, and AI's impact on the workforce. Officials also noted that Canada's housing sector is withstanding the pressure from higher mortgage rates better than they'd expected. Mackenzie Gray joins us with more on how Canadian homeowners are holding up. Mac.
They're doing surprisingly well in the Bank of Canada's view, Jeff, with mortgage holders surviving what was expected to be a challenging period. A new report from the central bank outlines that Canadians were broadly able to withstand the massive run-up in interest rates. If we go back to COVID in 2020 rates, they were at 0.25%. Fast forward to 2024, they're at 5%, thanks to runaway inflation. That had many economists, governments, and the central bank worried about Canadians potentially losing their home or being under serious financial pressure when renewing their mortgage at a much higher rate. But those fears didn't materialize. Data shows that household spending has stayed strong. Canadians, they were able to save up for those higher rates. And the Bank of Canada also did help out, slashing rates down to 2.25%, which has helped folks who renewed recently. But rates, they might not be staying at that level for much longer, with Governor Tiff Macklem warning if the war in Iran continues and oil prices stay high, interest rates might be raised consecutive times to deal with higher inflation, potentially impacting the 12% of homeowners who will renew from pandemic lows, Jeff, to higher rates over the next year.
Mackenzie Gray in Ottawa. Thanks, Mac. The Supreme Court of Canada has delivered a landmark decision on private property rights. The top court refused to hear an appeal from a New Brunswick First Nation that wanted Aboriginal title to be declared over private land. The Supreme Court justices were asked to review a lower court ruling that had rejected an Aboriginal claim for vast swaths of private forest land. The appeal court judge in that case ruled a declaration of Aboriginal title would, quote, sound the death knell of reconciliation. Today's Supreme Court ruling could have national implications. BC's Attorney General says the decision gives that province an avenue to win a future appeal. A BC court recently found that granting private titles infringed on Aboriginal claims to land in the city of Richmond. The Canadian government has announced $8 million to help support the global response to Africa's Ebola outbreak. The health minister is also defending new policies that align Canada with the U.S. and Mexico for people traveling from the outbreak zone for the FIFA World Cup.
Was the U.S. pressuring Canada to move on this?
No, nobody was pressuring Canada. I spoke directly with my Mexican counterpart and we had a discussion and we were saying we need to align.
On Wednesday, the government announced a 90-day suspension of immigration and travel documents for people from the Democratic Republic of the Congo, Uganda, and South Sudan, where around 250 people are now confirmed dead from the outbreak. Canadians, permanent residents, and others who have been in the region can return to Canada, but will have to undergo a 21-day quarantine. The U.S. implemented its own travel ban last week. The White House now says it's reached an agreement with Iran to extend the ceasefire by 60 days as they continue negotiating an end to the war and the reopening of the Strait of Hormuz. U.S. President Donald Trump still needs to approve that extension, and yet again, there are mixed signals over how much progress is being made. Jackson Prosko joins us now from Washington. So, Jackson, where do things stand tonight?
Jeff, Iranian officials are already saying that no final text has been agreed to, but the White House is spinning a far different story. U.S. officials claim there is a memorandum of understanding on the table that would fully reopen the Strait of Hormuz, ease sanctions on Iran, and set the stage for future negotiations about Iran's nuclear program. But things are still very tense, and overnight the two sides actually exchanged fire once again, with Iran firing drones and missiles and the U.S. attacking a military facility.
Nothing is going to be on the table until we see the Strait of Hormuz open and the Iranians agree that they have to turn over the highly enriched uranium and that they can't have a nuclear program.
For now, the U.S. is upping the pressure on Iran's economy. It says it's trying to limit the ability for Iran's airlines to land and refuel outside the country. The other issue in all of this is Israel, which is widening its offensive in Lebanon against Hezbollah. That escalating conflict could also threaten the negotiations with Iran. Jeff?
Jackson Prosko in Washington. Thanks, Jackson. One of the world's most popular online retailers under scrutiny. Coming up, why the EU just slapped Temu with a major fine. The U.S. Department of Justice has reportedly opened a criminal investigation into E. Jean Carroll. Carroll successfully sued President Trump for sexual assault and defamation a couple of years ago. She was awarded nearly $90 million. Trump denies the allegations, and reports say officials are now investigating whether Carroll committed perjury when she said she received no outside funding for her civil suit. Trump's lawyers later revealed that Carroll had in fact received financial support from LinkedIn co-founder Reid Hoffman. The European Union has fined the low-cost online shopping platform Temu for allowing unsafe and faulty products to be sold on its website. It says an investigation found many popular products, including baby toys and electronics, failed basic safety tests or posed risks. Redmond Shannon reports from London.
The message from the EU to Temu is blunt.
The company has not properly assessed the risks of illegal products being sold on its marketplace.
A whopping €200 million fine for the low-cost Chinese-owned shopping site.
Dangerous toys for kids, small electronics without proper label, clothes and jewelry containing harmful chemicals, to name just a few.
It's the largest fine imposed under the EU's Digital Services Act, but still dwarfed by Temu's parent company's most recent annual profits of €14 billion. Temu told Global News it disagrees with the decision and regards the fine as disproportionate. It says it engaged constructively with the Commission throughout the process and has since taken further steps to strengthen risk assessment, platform governance and user protection, adding that it is reviewing the decision carefully and considering all available options. Temu is a marketplace site which allows third-party manufacturers, mostly in China, to sell directly to customers. Small packages at very low prices, but at huge scale.
The product is being shipped all over the world, not just in the EU, not just to Canada. It's the sheer volume of product that is moving is very, very difficult to keep track of.
Temu signed up to Health Canada's Voluntary Product Safety Pledge in 2024. It aims to detect and prevent the sale of unsafe products and to educate sellers and buyers. Health Canada did not respond to a Global News question about actions it may take in response to the EU findings. Redmond Shannon, Global News, London.
An Austrian court has convicted a man for plotting an attack on a Taylor Swift concert in Vienna. He's now been sentenced to 15 years in prison. The 21-year-old was found guilty of multiple charges related to terrorism. He pleaded guilty at the start of the trial. He'd planned to attack people outside the concert venue with knives and homemade explosives during Swift's Eras Tour in 2024. That threat led to the cancellation of concerts at the venue. A yellow card on World Cup ticket sales. Still ahead, the investigation launched into FIFA's sky-high prices. In just 2 weeks' time, the World Cup will kick off in Canada, the US, and Mexico. But as the tournament draws closer, FIFA is facing fresh scrutiny over sky-high ticket prices and sales tactics that many consumers are calling offside. Officials in New York and New Jersey have now launched an investigation. Taria Isri reports on the probe and what it means for soccer fans here in Canada.
Finishing touches are being put on stadiums across North America. As excitement builds, so does anger over who can actually afford to be in the stands.
The prices exceeded what we were willing to pay. It's too expensive.
With fees soaring, prosecutors in New York and New Jersey are demanding answers from FIFA. New York's Attorney General spoke to CNN about the most serious scrutiny yet into a ticket process fans call confusing and misleading.
Have a responsibility and a duty to protect consumers.
Customers complain they were shown one view on stadium maps, only to be assigned worse seats after paying. FIFA declined to comment.
It's a breach of trust and can result in a variety of penalties for the offenders.
Many of those who bought tickets say they feel duped, while other fans have been priced out altogether. In New York, first-round tickets for France versus Senegal start at $2,100 US. It's nearly $2,500 for Ecuador versus Germany, and more than $17,000 for the final match. The tournament is also shaping up to be a luxury event here. In Toronto, Canada versus Bosnia-Herzegovina starts at $6,400. In Vancouver, Canada versus Qatar, nearly $3,600.
The vibe is in the city, but we still feel excluded.
This Vancouver mother has been trying to get tickets for her 9-year-old son and is holding out hope for discounted youth prices.
One of the characteristics of soccer is its inclusiveness. For low to average income families, it's not reasonable.
Not reasonable, she says, for an event where Canadian taxpayers are already footing a $1 billion bill to co-host. Taria Isri, Global News, Montreal.
Up next, the hockey world mourns the loss of a Canadian NHL legend. And that is Montreal Canadiens legend Claude Lemieux just days ago, carrying the Habs ceremonial torch during the Stanley Cup playoffs. Well, today, the NHL Alumni Association announced his death. Lemieux joined the Habs in 1983. He played for them for 7 years, including their successful Stanley Cup run in 1986. He hoisted the cup 3 more times, playing for the Colorado Avalanche and the New Jersey Devils. Lemieux was 60 years old. A 50-year-old Canadian has just made history by becoming the first woman with stage 4 cancer to summit Mount Everest. In 2024, Shauna Burke was diagnosed with incurable breast cancer. But instead of holding her back, Burke used it to push herself forward, inspiring countless other climbers along the way. Mike Armstrong has her story.
If you're looking to confront mortality, Mount Everest is a good place to do it. Climbing to the summit this week, Dr. Shauna Burke passed the bodies of 2 climbers who were killed on the trail. What pushed her forward is a lesson she says she learned from cancer.
Don't put off anymore what you want to do. Don't say, oh, I'll do it in the future. I'll do it in 3 or 4 months. Forget that. We don't know if we've got that. So make it happen today.
I'm an associate professor in exercise and health psychology.
Burke lives in the UK, but she was born in Quebec. She was part of Canada's ski team for a time. A researcher who specializes in exercise and cancer. In 2024, she got her own cancer diagnosis.
I think the toughest part for me was being told that my cancer was incurable. And when my surgeon used the words palliative care, that was the hardest moment for me.
Well, there were plenty of tough times ahead. Chemo, radiation, a double mastectomy, and more. Burke says right now she lives between scans every 3 months, waiting to see how the cancer is progressing.
The way I manage that is to live in the present moment. It's to ground myself in the here and now.
So that's what took her back to Everest. She climbed it in 2005, but that trip, she says, was for herself. This time was to raise money for cancer support, the services that helped her, and to inspire. She reached the summit in the very early morning Saturday.
It was fantastic on one level. To be fair, it was 3 a.m. when I got there. So it was pitch black, so there was no view whatsoever.
Well, there were chances for some spectacular sights on other parts of the trip like this one. And if the photos at the top weren't perfect,
Done it.
Complaining about something like that
Incredible.
really isn't her thing. Mike Armstrong, Global News, Montreal.
And that is Global National for this Thursday night. I'm Jeff Semple. Tonight's Your Canada is this patriotic Caryn in Trosac, Saskatchewan. We love seeing your Canada, so please email your photos to globalnational@globalnews.ca. Thanks for watching. Hope to see you tomorrow. Have a great night.